He went through the wire. Also, people are, is at home working.
Sound. No sound. 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 Alex.
Your call has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system.
We can hear somebody.
Yeah, this is one of the problems with virtual meetings is that sometimes the audio doesn't work.
Okay, now I'm getting audio, first time.
I hear something. I hear audio now.
Okay, so the audio is now working. Okay. Yeah.
Now it is.
The problem seems to have solved itself. Sometimes the audio doesn't work.
Is it weird?
Now I'm getting audio, first time.
I hear something. I hear audio now.
Okay.
Yes, the audio is now working. Okay. Yeah.
Now it is.
The problem seems to have solved itself.
You can mute your. Is it weird?
Now I'm getting audio the first time.
I hear something. I hear audio now.
Okay. Alex, could you? You like killed him?
I hear something. I hear audio now.
Now we got two. Hey folks, can you mute yourself in the meantime? Thank you.
Oh, they are muted, but it's still having some sort of. Say so.
Can you mute yourself
Is
in the
somebody
meantime?
streaming?
Thank you. Oh, we have a delay.
Oh, they are muted, but it's still having some sort of. Say so.
Can you mute yourself in the meantime? Okay,
Thank you.
so,
We fixed the reverberation issue.
good,
Sorry for.
the fall pickup,
Yeah, the full pickup of Poconos, as we were talking about, is scheduled for the 10th of October. And It's gonna be a good time. We should have a decent number of people. The Waste Authority is partnering. They provide us with gloves and pickers and things like that. So we're gonna try to get as many people to meet here a little bit before the event and carpool up there. It'll be a couple of hours and then there'll be free lunch afterwards. So it should be a good time for those who can make it. And basically, if you can't make it for some reason, I know one of the members here said they couldn't make it, just let me know so we know how many people to plan for. But otherwise, it's a great way to get your steps in, beautify the community, and, you know, participate in a program that we're really excited to bring back. We used to do the fall pickup of Poconos and the spring every year, and now, you know, because I guess the Visitor Bureau stopped doing the fall one, it's up to the townships to do fall pickup of Pocono. So if this works well, we'll do Mount Nebo Road next.
Yeah.
Any questions on that?
Sure, is it gonna be as physically exerting as the walk was on Godfrey Bridge?
Almost certainly not. It's still like a mile down and then a mile back, so.
But you don't have to go up.
Oh, it's a little bit of I don't think you'll need a carabiner this time, but
Okay.
Mount Nebo Road you might.
Okay. Next subject. Trunk or treat. Alex, again, that's on you.
Yeah, trunk or treat is coming up. Every year, the township, well, at least for the last 2 years now, the township has done a program where any families can come and collect candy here at the township. We do need trunkers. That's any individual who would like to decorate the trunk of their vehicle and, you know, provide candy to the public. We do need some signups. We have 3. So we need at least a dozen or more to make the event a success. So if you know anybody who can come out, it'd be lovely to have you. It doesn't have to be that elaborate, even just having a costume or something decorative, even if it's a business and you want to promote your business, you can do that too. So it's a really good opportunity to get yourself out there, get your business out there, just, you know, work with the community and get to know each other. And anybody can sign up. It's not restricted to residents. So if anyone here in the audience wants to do a trunk, you can do that as well. So any questions on trunk or treat?
Do we have any outreach to any of the local businesses, or is that kind of a, no, in the making?
We are working on getting all the flyers out to the schools, to the local businesses. We're rolling that out this week. It's been in the newsletter. We're putting on the agendas. So now is where we're rolling a lot of that out. It's a good question.
Flyers.
And you're disseminating that how? Alex?
Well, I'll probably personally go out to a number of the local businesses and, you know, talk to them. Just have them put them up in their place of business. We did that last year, it was pretty successful. We're also bringing it to the schools. We're working with them to get it out to all the kids so they know, so their parents can pencil it in. We're aiming to get that done either this week or next week. And then we put it out in the newsletter as well. We keep putting out in, you know, on the agendas and so on and so forth, talking about it at the meetings.
Will you send that, send us an email?
If you want.
Yes, on your progress, so we know where you're at.
And the flyers for distribution, we can all kind of spread the word as best as
Absolutely.
possible.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Terrific. Okay, moving right along. EAC meeting schedule for November and December. And before I start rattling off the dates, did you send us an email that the November 18th was canceled?
The November 5th meeting was canceled. You should have all gotten a cancellation notice, whoever was on there. We've also taken that event off the website.
Okay. So November and December scheduled meetings are as follows. Tuesday, November 18th, 2025 at 7 p.m. Wednesday, December 3rd, 2025, 7 p.m. And the last meeting of the year will be December 16th, 2025 at 7 p.m. Any questions? Anybody?
Yeah, just to clarify why this is on your agenda, the supervisors moved their meetings to, they swapped their meetings and basically we just had to change your dates from Wednesday back to Tuesday. Even though your meetings are usually on Tuesday, they had been temporarily changed for November, December. So it's basically.
We're back to normal, that's.
Back to normal, yeah. So basically, what you've been doing all year will continue through the end of the year. So it's actually more convenient for everybody.
Okay. Let's move on to the
Can
minute.
I make a comment on the
Sure.
announcements? I think this is right just for the benefit of the public people that are here, the residents that are here. It's my understanding we're operating under a new ordinance for public comment. That was approved in September 23rd. And if that's correct, a public comment can be made on an individual agenda item or in general at the end of the meeting. But it's limited to 3 minutes, so you have to be concise, okay? And it needs to be courteous and respectful. It can be deferred, but if it's not courteous or respectful, then you can be charged with a misdemeanor. So that is something that's new in Smithfield Township, if I understand it right. And I just wanted to make sure that the public at this meeting was aware of that.
So I would just
Table that.
be a little cautious about that last part, and we can go over that, but the part about like the, what you said is true, the supervisors adopted this, and it's actually on the agenda later on to discuss.
Right.
I would recommend holding off to discuss the details until then.
Yeah.
And I can explain why this is on your agenda as well, but thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, I think it's important for the residents that are here just to know that up front, because then that helps them plan their homes.
Yeah, I agree. Thanks for bringing that up.
Hold on, before we move on. Let me see where that's at in the,
That should be the next document after the minutes.
resolution 602.
Yeah,
Okay,
and so once you're done discussing the minutes, then that is next in your.
okay, then we'll read that. We'll read it in its entirety. So this way, everybody that's here,
We know all about it.
but we still have to read it out loud. Thank you. Alrighty. The minutes. We have the meeting at September 16th, 2025, 7 PM on hand. Is there any discussion on the minutes?
Make a motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve by,
I'll second.
seconded by Mitch Bauer. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Now we move on to new business. And we'll discuss the public comment code of conduct.
Okay, so just to piggyback on what Mitch has just said, so the supervisors adopted this and I talked to the township and they are asking that you decide if you want to adopt it as well. It doesn't necessarily. And basically, you guys have to make up your own decision on this. If you want to adopt what the supervisors put in place, that would then apply to your group. But it does require action in order to.
I didn't read it that way.
Yeah.
But let me,
It says-
hold up, Mitch, hold up. Let me read it out loud, or maybe you want to read it out loud, Alex, either one of them.
Well, it's also, that's the way it was explained to me. That's why it's on your agenda, just so
Okay.
you
It'd
understand.
be better if we read it out loud, because this way we have the public here. And there's no misunderstanding that it wasn't discussed.
All we have to do is state the amount of time that we're gonna allot.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Let's
this-
read it, let's read it out loud.
Yeah, this group can edit it. It's because you're a separate, you are the board, this says Board of Supervisors.
Right, but the cat's been let out of the bag,
Mhm,
okay?
understood.
So we need to read it out loud so that there's no,
Yeah, and it's up to you. If you guys want to edit it, like if you want there to be,
is this the last portion?
that's an option you have. Yeah, the last portion, for some reason, there was an issue with the printer, so it had to end up going out in landscape. but
Okay.
you will have both pages.
Okay, good. Alrighty. So Smithfield Township, Monroe County, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, resolution number 602. A resolution of Smithfield Township, County of Monroe, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, adopting a code of conduct for the maintenance of order during public comment and clarifying the nature and extent of such comment. Whereas the Board of Supervisors, Smithfield Township values civic engagement, input from residents and taxpayers or on matters of importance to the township, and whereas Pennsylvania Sunshine Act 65, PACS subsection 701 at sec provides that residents and taxpayers must have reasonable opportunity to comment on the matters of concern, official actions or deliberation, which are or may be before the board prior to taking official action. And whereas the Pennsylvania Sunshine Act 65 PACS subsection 701 et sec, and specifically subsection 704 regulations and policy provides covered agencies, including the Board of Supervisors, the ability to adopt the rules and regulations necessary for conduct of its meetings and maintenance of order. And now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Supervisors of Smithfield Township, Monroe County, Pennsylvania, in accordance with the above cited Pennsylvania Sunshine Act, hereby adopts the following policy regarding public comment at public meetings of Smithfield Township. 1, there shall be 2 public comment periods. The first period shall be during each agenda item, with comments limited to the topic of the agenda item being discussed. The second, general, period shall be the last agenda item prior to the adjournment, when comments on any item, including those not on the agenda, may be given. 2, the Board of Supervisors reserves the right to set a maximum time limit for any meeting at the beginning of the meeting. If due to such a time constraint, there is not sufficient time at a meeting to complete public comment, the board may defer the public comment period to the next regular meeting or to a special meeting occurring in advance of the next regular meeting, just as it would any other agenda item that cannot be addressed due to time constraints. 3, except as otherwise precluded by law, such deferral does not preclude the board from officially deliberating or acting upon matters of concern. Official action or deliberation, which are or may be before the supervisors. 4, public comments shall speak only public commentators shall speak only after being recognized, shall state their name and municipality, and shall make their comments in a courteous, respectful manner without obscenity or threat. Public commentators shall be afforded up to 3 minutes per comment period and may not give their time to other speakers. 5, comments shall be related to official township business within the purview of the board or agency. Board members have the right to question public commentators for clarification, but public comment is not a question answer period and does not require a response by the Board of Supervisors. That stated, any time that may be taken by the clarifying question shall be deducted from the allotted 3-minute speaking time. Any person disrupting the orderly conduct of the meeting after being duly warned may be removed or subject to citation per 18 PACS section 5503, disorderly conduct, a summary of offense or 3rd-degree misdemeanor, or PACS section 5508, disrupting meetings and processions, a 3rd-degree misdemeanor. The Board of Supervisors reserves the right to amend this policy at a public meeting adopted this 23rd day of September 2025 by the Board of Supervisors, Smithfield Township, Monroe County. Smithfield Township Board of Supervisors, Jacob A. Pride, Chairman, Robert Lowertime, vice chairman, and Michael Albert, supervisor. And that's, it is in a nutshell.
Now,
So, yes,
remember-
Rob,
this is only the Board of Supervisors. The EAC has the option of either accepting it, rejecting it, or modifying it to anything that the EAC feels is better or more suited to what the EAC meetings are.
got it. Okay. So we were, yes,
Yes.
okay,
I don't read it that way, Robert, because if you look at what this says, it says hereby adopts the following policy regarding public comment at public meetings of Smithfield Township. This is a public meeting of Smithfield Township. It also references back here agencies, and this is an agency of Smithfield Township. So I believe the way it's written and the way that it should be read is that it applies to all public meetings of Smithfield Township.
correct.
It may apply, but you, as another body that is not the Board of Supervisors, can change it in any way you want or reject it. Even if it says it's for Smithfield Township, it's sort of a blanket resolution if you want to use it, but you do not have to use it.
That would even say that we could override other ordinances that the supervisors have passed, that I wouldn't do that.
Does everybody agree with what it says?
I
is
don't
not-
fully agree with this, but,
This is not an ordinance, it's a resolution.
right,
Does
right, it's a
does anyone have any comments?
that's what I'm gonna ask. Okay, so Mitch has made a comment. Eric?
I have nothing to add or subtract from this document, so. It's up to, if you have something.
I do. I think the allotted time is. I think it's a good idea because this way we don't have questions being asked that are not pertinent to the subject matter that we're attending at hand. So, but 3 minutes, I don't think is enough time per person.
I would agree.
Okay, 5 minutes would be a better number. But punishing for somebody for speaking out, I think that's a little harsh. Because
I
then
think
you're punishing freedom of speech, and I have an issue with that. The other thing is that people do get heated. And if they get heated, then they need to leave. And we can ask them to leave. We're not here to answer questions for anybody, any other body. We're not here to answer questions for the supervisors. We're not here to answer questions for the anyone else in the township. Okay, and that's not a bad idea, but I don't think that punishing for free speech is a good idea. And that should be removed.
Yeah, I would disagree with that. Because I think if there are comments that are disrespectful,
Right,
which we have had,
yes,
and if somebody is specifically degrading an individual, I think that is definitely something that should be addressed.
right, but that's not what, it's not saying, it's saying that they're being disorderly, disrupting the orderly conduct. Okay. Disorderly conduct. Okay, does it really apply for someone that wants to get a message out?
To call somebody a piece of shit? Yes, I think it is.
Okay, that's just language, okay?
That's language,
Language,
but that is being
but it's not,
respectful.
right, but it's not being physical. You have to have something, you have to have some kind of physicality here, okay? Just because someone is upset and uses language that a lot of people don't hear, that's another story, okay? We see it every day in the Senate, in the Congress, and people call each other all kinds of names. And then I get thrown out. So it wouldn't be right that we're gonna hit people with misdemeanors, because we're punishing, okay, the right to speak. Go ahead.
No, I think that's great. Why don't we just keep it as, if people are acting disorderly and, really getting in the way of us getting through our work here, then they can be asked to leave, and that's the end of it.
I think.
And we can quote, and we can stop the meeting.
Yeah, we can stop the meeting. We don't need to get into like crazy specifics here.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
Well, I
I'm
mean,
gonna make a quick comment.
go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
So quick comments, my take on it, again, it outlines basic general, civic respect, civility, which I think is, should be the gold standard. I think anything talking about the criminal code and involving, potential free speech, like you're saying, I think we should at least discuss before just moving forward with, in a one night setting. And then do we know what the gold standard is for public comment periods in these types of meetings, or was that worth looking up? Just so we have an idea of what we're working with. But in general, my comment would be, yeah, it's a lot to digest in one night. I think it has merit, but I think it should be discussed at least a little bit further before we just go through with slapping a yes.
Some of this was based on other townships. For instance, Middle Smithfield has a 3-minute speaking limit, and also the East Stroudsburg School District has the same. And what you must do with East Stroudsburg, I know, is you have to register before the meeting saying you want to speak, and then during the open comments period, you will be called and you get 3 minutes to speak. So it's precedent in other areas around us, but we've never had anything like this. And
I have a comment,
Tom, right?
we're here to speak about environmental things. The impact, the non-impact and all that.
Exactly.
So what we discuss here only shapes the outcome of things that are gonna happen. Okay, and as far as the 3 minute, the 5 minute, whatever. I mean, if I'm jumping off a bridge, you following me? We don't have to be like everyone else.
No, you're right.
If we're talking about an environmental thing, that could be a 30-minute conversation amongst us, and then the public may have some good opportunity to weigh in on their input on it. And that could take more than 3 to 5 minutes, I believe.
It generally does. Okay, but hold on a second. I think what they're trying to establish here is, I guess if they have a big meeting, we have 20, 30 people. And I think that is something that should be identified here, okay?
Okay.
This is guideline. We want to take more time on it.
Exactly.
I mean, I think we should look at it and think about it more. I just feel everyone should be respectful with their comments. But, to speak about the environment, I mean, it could be a lengthy discussion on one subject that 10 or more people want to talk about or don't understand what we're talking about.
Or it could be something that puts people asleep, so,
It could be.
okay.
Well, as a board, it's up to our discretion whether we discuss it longer than 3 or 5 minutes. That's
Exactly.
the time allotment that we're giving people to say, as when you show up, please be able to state your comment, in a period of time in less than 5 minutes. And then we can discuss it as long as we want with that person.
Exactly.
But it's just a regular outline, so people are ready to. Yeah, so I think it's good. If we want to do 5 minutes, it's fine, and then we can discuss the rest of the stuff at
Take it home and table this discussion
just take it home.
to the next.
Well, we need a motion.
I just made it.
Yeah.
I said, I'd like to make a motion that we table this till the next meeting.
Okay.
Come back with our thoughts, and then we'll.
Okay.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Yeah, can we put this on for the next meeting? Alex?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
can I make a comment, Mr. Chairman?
yes,
First of all, I'd like to welcome Todd and Mike. I mean, they're here and we're glad to have them. And I know that something like this coming up is kind of hitting you with ideas that really haven't had a chance to work through. And I think um, either taking it up at next meeting or deferring it for a few meetings till they've had a chance to see how they feel on this and how the meetings go would be a good idea. There's no rush to adopt this resolution or to adopt any um, different version of it. It's just something that's there if we need it. And I think they need a little experience here to see how they feel about this.
Great, because we're looking at a perfect time to get acclimated on the ins and outs, Robert. Welcome aboard, Todd. Welcome aboard. Thank you. Okay. Next item. Election of officers.
So James, Ken had asked to put this on the agenda. Ken, I don't know if you want to talk about why you had wanted to put this on there. Can you hear us okay?
Yeah, as some of you know, I've been dealing with a major illness for the past year, and I think since I'm temporarily serving as um, vice chair until we know what's going to happen with our elected chair, Pat Owens, I'm going to have to step down as temporary vice chair and leadership in general in the future. So what I'd like to see happen tonight, if we can do it, is elect some new officers. And I'm happy to see that isn't, we're going forward. It's not just going to be a bunch of old fogies on the EAC. We've got a younger generation here adding on to Eric. And if I may do so now, I would like to, since Eric has been on board with the EAC since we reestablished ourselves not what was it, about a year and a half ago. Eric's been on board since, and so I would like to nominate him as potentially chair, if not vice chair, depending on what the situation is with Pat Owens.
So I guess you can nominate him as acting chair at this point. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure of the protocol either. That's why I did want to bring it up tonight.
Alex?
Vice-
No?
Probably vice chair, which would effectively be the de facto acting chair.
Okay. So vice chair.
Mike.
Will Eric accept?
Yeah, you have to accept. Does it go to vote? I mean, I'll accept to be acting vice chair until we find out what's going on with Pat, absolutely.
Sounds a great idea. Okay.
You
All
would
right,
have to-
thank you, and I reiterate what Robert said. I'm welcoming aboard our two newest members to EAC there, and I know that in the past, since I've been on it, I've learned a lot about municipal government, and I think we all can just keep learning as things evolve here in Smithfield.
James, you have to vote on that.
Okay. So we have Eric has been nominated. Any other nominees? Any?
Seconded.
Can I nominate Michael?
It can. Say,
As
Not
a
sure.
public person, as a public resident, I nominate Michael.
It would have to be the board members of the EIC committee.
It would have to be
Thank you,
board members. I'll be happy to place him in nomination if there's a feeling that we should have him as our vice chairman. What do you think?
All right, so we have two. We have Mike and we have Eric.
Okay.
All righty.
Right. Who wants to do it? Who don't?
I was just gonna say, I would definitely appreciate the vote of confidence, but I would respectfully defer to a member who's been here for a lot longer than, it's my first night, so, but I do appreciate it. And, you know, I am interested in leadership, so I think I could take that moving forward, but eventually, you know, I think we can all, at least I would say I would defer, and I would like to cast my vote towards Eric, if that's possible.
Okay. So at the beginning of the year, things change. Yeah. Alrighty, so we have Mike, I'm sorry, we have Eric
Thank you.
is the one and only nominee. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 All right. You have the helm.
At the helm.
Yes.
Thank you, James. Appreciate you.
Thanks, James.
We've made up to this point.
Thank you, James.
So where are we at? Election of officers to future EAC and educational hike programs, new business, C. Where are we at with the educational hike programs?
Well, we had 2 members attend. We had, I think, 6 people.
Yeah, I apologize. I was out of town. So how did it go?
Yeah, I think it went real well.
Yeah.
You know, we were out there for a couple hours and learned a lot about forest and got some exercise. It was a good community health day.
Did we get anybody to add some historical input for that area?
There was discussion on the tanneries,
Okay, yeah.
you know, the old hydroelectric dam. There was some discussion on the history of the forest regrowth, you know, from what it once was in, like, you know, the 1700s and 1600s, mostly hemlock, to what it is today, which is a mixed hardwood primarily. The hemlock's a minor constituent, so I feel like I'll let Mitch and Mike speak to it. I don't know if you have anything else you'd like to add.
I think there was one really important thing that came out of that hike. And that was, as we were, I guess, maybe halfway up to the old hydroelectric dam. There is a exit stream of water from the East Stroudsburg sewage treatment plant. And the discussion of that indicated that is not the cleanest, and that there's a relatively simple solution. Bringing that to the attention of the Environmental Advisory Council for Smithfield Township, I think that's something we should address. And even though it's within the purview of the sewage authority, we can make recommendations to the supervisors, and I would guess to the sewage authority, that issue be addressed and fixed.
I mean, I wasn't there, but I'm sure that the information is.
I mean, Michael was there. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, I'll say 2 things. I agree with Alex. I think it was overall a good community event. You know, it was good to have community, get-togethers. I support that 100%. In terms of the specific sewage pipe that we're talking about, I agree with the fact that we could bring it to the attention of, you know, whoever is more or less in control of that area, and I believe Alex had mentioned that multiple municipalities kind of share, which, you know, we can do some further talking about and research into, but you know, I think it's worth doing our homework on and seeing if it's something we should bring to the attention of the necessary authorities, if you will. But yeah, it was a great hike, great day, and that's just an example of like a, you know, unplanned moment that, you know, might have brought our attention to something important. So I think that could continue to happen with
And the fact that
community
we
events.
discussed at that time need to be validated
Right,
and,
right.
On that
but it's
point,
certainly worth looking into.
on that point, we have our newsletter. So maybe we can do a recap in the newsletter.
Yeah.
And bring up the fact that, well, we could have it focus on wastewater, you know, effluent going into our streams. And maybe we can also do a quick kind of review, because something that I've always been concerned about was like the Walmart parking lot. The wastewater from the Walmart parking lot goes straight into a drain and straight into the broadhead without any net, you know, so you kind of, it's not something that people think about, but you know, you change your oil in the Walmart parking lot and that's going right into the broadhead. So we can kind of do a.
People change their oil.
There's a lot of things in that parking lot you don't wanna know that happen.
No, it's just a thought, but I mean, if you look at the wastewater pipes, they do end up right in the Broadhead and there's, constantly traffic.
I mean, you got how many homeless people down there bathing in it?
Oh, yeah, and that's probably the least of our worries. So,
Yeah.
But, yeah,
What they do is there's a lot of litter down there.
so why don't I'll make a motion to add this as a column perhaps, or a focus for the.
Can you clear that up for me, because I'm trying to get that. So you're proposing that we're gonna get involved with.
I was just saying, we do a recap on the walk. Right, that we did on our walk. And we include that in our newsletter as a part of the newsletter, kind of a review and maybe a possible. Highlighting some lessons that we've learned or potential concerns that were learned along the hike.
I think it's worth noting too, that we can highlight the educational component in the newsletter. That's, I think, what you were originally getting at.
And then also schedule the next one.
Let me get this, so you're not mentioning the sewage pipe in this recap. This is just something that you observed.
No, I'm saying we should do a review of the hike.
Okay.
And in that review on the newsletter, include some of the concerns that were brought up during the hike. And make that a highlight of that.
So how can the EIC change or be involved in that kind of thing?
We can't, but we can just highlight that there are currently.
It's a concern of the EAC that sewage drain is there.
But it involves how many municipalities?
Well,
Three municipalities?
I'd like to bring up that even though my fellow supervisors may not agree with me because they like to limit things to what's going on in Smithfield, if we come up against a problem where we're seeing something like a sewage pipe that's going into Broadhead Creek from Walmart, I think we can bring it up. And what we can do is
that something that's part of wouldn't be Monroe County be like the primary on that?
well,
If it involves more than
it's the conservation district that should be looking into this and determining whether it's proper or not. And we can make a complaint to the conservation district. It doesn't have to be in Smithfield. We can do anything we want. And as an angry old guy here, my feeling is when you see a problem, do something about it. It doesn't have to be in the township. It's our view is the environment. Period. It doesn't.
So your suggestion is that we should put it on our agenda so that we can formulate a complaint?
No, we're gonna formulate a recap of the hike.
Right, I got that.
Highlight some potential concerns. We can talk about a formal complaint later. This is just, we can do a recap of the hike. As a group, we can talk about this at the next meeting about, what we saw, do some research. And then as an environmental, again, we're education here. So we can talk about the potential, the ability of the citizens to do their best not to pollute because those wastewaters,
Well, that's why I brought it up, because if the only thing the EIC can do is be a
we're here to recommend.
Educate. Recommend. We don't have any authority to make any changes. Okay,
but.
Well, we can contact the other municipalities involved and let them know the situation if they don't already know the situation.
Right.
And maybe form a complaint between all the municipalities to Monroe County or the conservation district.
This is my thought. It's just that I've been thinking about this and I've read the ordinance for the Environmental Action Committee. And I know it says that our main purpose is the map. That's our main purpose, and properties that may come available that we can recommend to the supervisors for purchasing for adding to this open environment. And then it says that other actions that the supervisors think we should look at. But, you know, we're looking at ordinances, we're looking at sewers, but it's not in our purview, it's not identified in the ordinance.
Okay.
So
How about,
I'm just trying to clear it up for the record.
I'm agreeing with you completely. So,
Just
new
remember,
business,
just
new
remember,
business, discuss
I mean,
future.
any
Uh,
individual on the committee can file a complaint with the conservation district and say it's a personal complaint, but they are on the EAC for Smithfield, which has some weight.
But regarding the educational hike program and the hike that we just had, I'd like to put together a review so that we can add that to the next newsletter. In the process of creating that review for the newsletter, we can talk a little bit more about some of the concerns that were brought up on the hike, and then we can go from there.
And we should also add to the agenda that
That's
what we're really about, because
that's a different thing.
because I agree, I'm agreeing with, yeah, we should do that. But we should also add into the agenda what our actual purpose is, because our purpose is identified in the ordinance and we're doing everything but.
Okay.
Okay, so we're being sidetracked.
All right,
When it comes to the map, we're being sidetracked,
I understand.
okay, and
So we'll make a motion to do a review for the newsletter, all right? And then as far as you're concerned with the powers of the council, we can address that.
yeah, this is meaningless. Where did you get it?
That is not meaningless.
Where
That
do we
is
get
our
that?
charter.
Right, but this is not the ordinance.
That is.
So,
part-
can I just kind of, I think I can make a
That's what the
summary.
Supervisors
It's not the
have.
ordinance.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just want to I'll try and make a summary comment. I agree with Robert in the sense that if we see a problem or something, we can raise awareness.
I don't disagree with
I also agree with James that we should keep our, conversation as bestly tied to Smithfield Township as we can. And then I also agree with Eric ultimately that it's an educational and awareness conversation.
Okay.
It probably doesn't need to go beyond that. And I like the word discussion more than complaint, because we could write a letter and open a discussion about a pipe that we saw, but it doesn't have to be, down the road of complaints or things like that. But ultimately, I think we can all, agree.
But I love these things. I love complaining. I love, the biggest complainer is me. Okay, I like to complain about everything.
This is true. I agree with it. It's very true.
How much is our complaining gonna accomplish? That's my focus. What's, if our complaining is going to come to fruition, then by all means, we should all get together and go somewhere and start complaining. But if that's not our purpose, we're not fulfilling our purpose, and that's always been my pet peeve. We're not following the ordinance. Okay,
We are following the agenda though. Okay, so in following the agenda, we'll keep to future EAC
I
educational
think
hike
we
program.
second on your motion.
Okay,
I'll second it.
second on the emotion and all in favor.
Aye.
Okay. I'll make just one comment on the future EAC educational hike programs. Within the next 2 weeks, we should think about what the next hike is going to be. And we'll location and a date, bring that up.
Yeah.
Come to the meeting with your thoughts.
Yeah, it's a good thing to think about. It's a good number of options, so if you all can think of where you'd like to hike.
I've got one
Okay.
too that could be historical and environmental as well. So we'll get together and chat about that in the next meeting.
Okay.
Could you pass back my powers of council?
Council power.
There you go.
All right, agenda item number 7, old business. Discuss educational programs on green stormwater infrastructure for residents.
Yeah, Eric, so at the last meeting, the group had asked me to was sort of tasked with pulling out the educational components of this 20-page review. I I went ahead and took the liberty of giving you what I found to be the majority of those educational recommendations, and it's a couple of pages. For example, educating residents about downspout disconnections, rain barrels, how to use rain barrels effectively. There's a lot of information here, and I think this could be a really nice project for the EAC, maybe as a subcommittee to sort of take this document and discuss on how they might want to put something together, whether it's a handout to new residents who come in for a building permit or something like that. You know,
Yeah.
something that could be maybe substantively beneficial to the community.
Yeah, and it's also, it's a nice segue into what we were just talking about, because as we do the newsletter, we might be able to have something to then link to, or, yeah, depending on what we'll come up with, but.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's, if there's a good location even that we can kind of go off of locally, to use as a, you know, a visual, local, you know, place that does this. I don't know if there is, but, it's,
Well, there's rain gardens, you know, education on rain gardens. Rain gardens are definitely something that pretty much any property owner can put together. It's basically just
sure. No, I'm just wondering if we know anybody that is, you know, properly capturing stormwater and rainwater.
Conservation District has some set up at their facility there. That's one that comes to mind off the top of my head. Maybe you guys have something locally. You can
Yeah.
reach out to some local businesses and see if they're.
I know that, Pocono Organics does some work in that regard as well,
Mhm.
but,
Yeah, they're good.
unfortunately not, yeah.
Yeah, somebody, we have a question out here.
I know a lot at the track, we do a lot with stormwater and stormwater management and all the rain gardens and all that stuff. So I'll have it all engineered as well. So, that's just sitting with the conservation district later.
Well, as we put together the article for the next newsletter, we can bring up locations that are local that are properly handling their wastewater and their stormwater. I think that's good.
I don't know if you were here at the last meeting.
Yeah.
About that. We spoke about maybe setting up some kind of educational, hands-on, and maybe in the parking lot. We get it out to people. Maybe we could set up some kind of, way of how people can make their own rain garden. Attach them to the downspouts, which will collect the water.
But you can go to Lowe's, Home Depot, you can go to any place and buy a barrel for a rain garden. Walmart actually sells one. You can use a brand new trash can, you know, cut out the lid.
Yeah.
You know,
So as far as, you know, educational programs on the green stormwater infrastructure for residents, we'll attach this to our newsletter for the next month. And then maybe we can pull something together, Alex, to give reference to. And then if we're, you know, pull a bunch of time, then maybe we can put together an actual event or.
Yeah, I think an event would be good, an educational event. If you turn to page 8 on that little handout I gave you, the 3-page handout, it's 8 of the original document, but that final paragraph sort of points to the cumulative impacts of projects that fall below the square footage minimums that negate the need for stormwater management control measures. So basically, like if you have a home and it's less than 5,000 square feet of impervious, but you might want to still try to help educate, and that's most homes in the township. That might help kind of educate those homeowners on they call it residential scale stormwater management features. So these aren't like engineering or anything like that. You don't need to hire an engineer, but they're residential scale, things that regular property owners that just have a house that want to try to mitigate their stormwater impact a little bit. What can they do?
I mean, if we can kind of focus that newsletter article to, you know, as we talk about stormwater, and then maybe put a link in that newsletter, and hopefully by that point, we have some type of an event that we can focus on, that'd be good. Because not only does it bring, you know, awareness to an issue, it also gives you some information on how to help.
Yeah, that's a good idea, and they actually have links in here to like this watershed association. Stormwater management ordinance and things like that, which this one here is appendix B, small project stormwater management site plan for residential development. So maybe we can even link that document to the newsletter.
Great. Well, I also mentioned the last time that, we all did that Zoom meeting, that webinar, where they did these, stormwater drains and stormwater, gardens, where they were doing in, outside of Philadelphia, in the suburbs. And those were for residential neighborhoods, a lot tighter. The homes were a lot tighter, less than 5,000 square feet, Alex.
Yeah.
Okay, so that people can use them, build a garden, and this way, when the water drains through the garden, it'll purify.
Yeah, I mean, I think that everybody's aware of the fact that the storms are getting a little bit more intense as time goes on, even since I've moved here. So we don't get, when we do get rain, heavy.
They haven't had much rain.
When we do get rain, it is heavy though, and it does just wash that, top.
Well, we're lucky we're not California,
Oh, no.
okay?
But I'm sure there's a bunch we can talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you feel comfortable with trying to focus on, this site plan for this residential development, we can try to refine this further. come
I
back
think
to
that's
you more.
most pertinent for the newsletter.
Okay.
For sure. All right, so we'll use what we have here. We'll just kind of include this with our educational hike because we can recap. Talk about potential concerns, connect that to infrastructure for residents, and then cite some pertinent information.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
I don't think we need to put on anything.
No.
The Environmental Advisory Council ordinance update.
So your recommendation is taken by the supervisors. They do want to adopt an edit to the ordinance to provide for alternate members formally. And I put together a draft ordinance. And the group can, read through it. It's basically starts on the last sentence of the first page and then continues on page 2. It's that section, it should be in purple. For those of you who have colored copies.
Yeah.
And it's basically just legal language that codifies the alternate members of the council.
So, and I think as we continue to operate here, it's really important that as each one of us wants to speak, we get recognized and then speak and then shut up. My only comment on this is that I think it looks great just the way it is. Nice job.
Thank you.
I just had a quick question. Are we still, there's 2 alternates currently now?
There's one alternate currently.
Okay.
There's one. Technically, it's an associate.
So
We're trying to change that to
Okay.
them being formally an alternate.
All right, and then if there's other people that are still able to be list,
Yeah,
is that correct?
yeah, we
And
probably, if anyone else wants to become an alternate, then I think you can still have another,
Sure.
technically, and then if there's, then we can start a waiting list.
So you have 6 actual members.
7.
Well, you have five actual members, you have 1 township supervisor
Mhm.
and 1 from the planning
Planning
commission.
commission, that's correct.
Okay, so actually you only need 5 people. Because the others are already from,
Mhm.
one is from another, from the planning commission and the supervisor.
Mhm.
So you have 1, 2.
Do we have any
4.
official
You need one more.
applications? Any other official applications?
No,
No,
And
just people that expressed interest.
I know you mentioned something about Pat coming back, or, you gave us an update on Pat's, what she had to, so any news on her coming back?
I got a message from her, she's at home. I spoke to her on the phone, she wasn't able to speak very long, but she wants to give me a full update. Probably sometime later this week, but, she did sound okay, and she is at home. And she made it clear that she's back, she's
So she'll be back with us.
We don't know exactly that. We just know that she's back at home.
May I have a word here real quick? Because I have to get to another meeting on Zoom very shortly. Do we need to take action on this item?
You could make a recommendation, the Board of Supervisors adopts this ordinance.
Well,
That would be, yeah, you could like send it along and say we've reviewed
Yeah,
the draft
this is-
ordinance and we recommend, advertisement and adoption.
I make a motion that we accept the Smithfield Township ordinance for, well done. Okay. Environmental Advisory Council and repeal all parts of the ordinance inconsistent herewith.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Right.
Well, I hope to see you all next time. I got to get to another meeting.
Thanks,
Okay.
Ken.
Welcome
Sir.
aboard, new members.
Thanks, Ken.
you.
All right.
Alrighty.
Councilmember comment?
Open comment. Just quickly on the ordinance, I like the idea of the alternate members, people who are interested should be able to get involved. And I appreciate the opportunity to be involved, so I think it's a good idea from the council before I even got on, so absolutely, yeah.
And it's open that, well, we can make it be known that people can put their name.
Maybe even add something to the website that
That's what
says,
I was thinking, yeah.
I have a comment. On a more general subject, I've never been happy with the way that we, as a governing board, supervisors, EAC, communicate with the residents in Smithfield Township. And I look to Middle Smithfield as doing a much better job because they send out a paper newsletter. And it comes to my house because I said I was interested in it, and I get it once a quarter. And I know more about what is going on in Middle Smithfield Township than I do about Smithfield Township. Because it's there, I go through it, I read what I want to read, I skip what I want to skip, and it's extremely effective. In my opinion, it's not effective to have meetings here where we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people from Smithfield Township here. I mean, that's not a good way to communicate. Public meetings, they're not a good way to communicate to the 5,000 plus people that we have in Smithfield Township.
Mitch,
I would just like to ask that we think about, as the EAC, how we can do a better job. I know that in one of our meetings, there were comments made that there is an email list of residents.
And also the socials.
Pardon me,
Mitch, can I speak to that?
yeah, social media might be better than a public meeting for sure. But it doesn't reach all the people in Smithfield Township the way Middle Smithfield reaches their residents.
Mitch,
We have to think about
can
it.
I answer you? Mitch?
We have to think
Anybody
about
hearing me?
is how we improve.
Mitch, Roberts wants to throw in some comments.
Mitch, I personally, I agree with you because I'd love to have a published newsletter. But first of all, we have 8,000 people in the township, not 5. And the problem is the cost. It's simply that. Middle Smithfield pays about $35,000 to $40,000 a year just to lay out that newsletter. That's not with the editorial part of it, and that's not with the postage. They also have an email list, or not an email list, excuse me, a mailing list of everyone in the township. So if we were willing to spend $50,000 or $60,000, we could do the same. But the voters, especially in this election coming up, are talking about how taxes have gone up, expenses have gone up. They want relief. They don't want any new taxes. They don't want any new expenses. Where does the $60,000 come from?
It
I don't
doesn't
know.
have to $60,000, Robert, and every time we bring this up, you bring up money. And you
Yes.
try to kill it. We need to find a way to improve, and we need to think outside the box.
We don't
because
have the money, Mitch. That's the problem. And the
communicating
voters
effectively.
don't want to spend the money. I'd love to have it, but they don't. Remember, Middle Smithfield Township has twice as many people in it as we do, and they collect a lot more taxes than we do because of the
I
population.
think, Robert, I think we have a way of doing this and we're not using our potential. Okay?
How would you
We
do
need
it?
to, we need to get out to people to provide us their email. Okay? Provide us their email, because the quickest way to communicate these days is through either email or text. Okay? We need to get out the word so that people can sign up by sending us their email. And this could be part of the way the Environmental Action Committee can communicate and get out our message. And the quickest way for us to do that is through email. Okay, and email is not the kind of money you're talking about. You're talking about something that can be done with a simple program. You fill the email that you want with all the information, and it's a click of a button. Okay, you can get something like this, which will cost you maybe a couple $100 a year
I totally agree with you. And actually,
software.
we talked about this at another meeting, and I think Pat, we had talked about, we said that we were looking at, you know, first of all, it's a newsletter. We're doing that.
Right.
So we'll focus on the first one coming up, which is or the second newsletter, which is our newsletter, our number 2, right? Did we do this at
Well,
October?
we've had pieces in all the newsletters. We haven't had like a special news piece
Okay.
per se, so this will be our next, special piece.
If
we should
if we
find
were
a
to,
way.
if we, no, I agree with you, but I'm just saying, if we were to look at what we've been able to achieve so far, it's very little.
Right.
So let's focus first on getting the next newsletter out. And I think that we should talk
focus.
about.
Right, but we should, yeah,
One second.
we should
I
get,
agree.
you're right, I agree with
But-
you that we should get this newsletter out that we do on a regular basis, but we should. What's important is, if we can get a sign, like those signs that we've gotten with the QR codes, put a few of those out in some strategic locations, and people will see it says, sign up for the newsletter, and then it will benefit the township,
Yes.
not just for the EAC action committee, but for the whole township, because then the whole township will find out when there's a meeting, when there's a planning commission, when the supervisors, because I'm sure that people in this community want to know what's going on. And they want to be able to communicate
Okay.
with
Yeah, I
with the
agree.
members of the government a lot better than they're doing now, because I'm pretty sure they don't know who their supervisors are. Because if you tell them, most of them don't know.
This is a whole, one second.
Alex can
This
get
is a whole other,
flyers printed out.
this is a whole nother section though. This is what we can do for us as the EAC.
Right.
Is our outreach. So
Right.
this is
Yeah.
this is a discussion on the EAC outreach, and that's it.
Exactly.
And we can put this on an agenda and we can decide, first of all, how we're going to reach out. Second of all, who's gonna put together the information that we're sending out.
Can we add it to the agenda for the next meeting?
Let's do that. I make a motion that we add this to the next meeting's agenda on how we're going to collect emails so that we can advance our word as the Environmental Action Community to the rest of the community in Smithfield Township.
Excellent, there's some comments.
Yeah, I think we should call it like a discussion on communication strategies.
Right.
And I think what we're debating is basically like the digital versus paper, right? Paper being mailers, newspaper, things like that, and then digital versus the website, email, social media, stuff like that.
Think of
So
email-
discussion on communication strategies.
Think of rock, paper, scissors.
And then also content.
Right, right.
We're arguing.
It's something to think about for the next
Yeah.
meeting then.
Now,
Yeah.
should we-
The biggest problem is
Okay.
collecting- The biggest
Yeah.
problem is collecting emails.
It's added, has anybody else,
to get people to give us their
Motion,
emails.
second it and
It's
vote on
very,
it.
very difficult. I've even tried handing out cards at elections saying, if you'll give us your email, we'll give you alerts and anything that happens, for instance, where the snowplows are, what's going on, where the road problems are, where accidents are. We'll give you all this information. Just give us your email. It's never worked. I don't know
That approach is,
what's some ideas.
it's invasive. I get, to take it from someone that's handed out millions of cards, okay, it's invasive. The best way is to put something that people can see and they make that choice. Most people will go to the QR code and at least find out what it is. And they will respond a lot quicker than if you give them a card,
It's on the agenda,
okay?
next meeting.
Here we go.
Any other comment?
Comments from the.
I just want to point out too, Seven Sirens Brewery in, Bethlehem. Does not have a menu for anything they serve there. It's all done by QR code.
Right.
So, I mean, if you want to go there, it's done by QR code. I think QR code is a good idea.
Yeah.
If you're interested.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna reserve that, we're gonna reserve that for the next meeting,
Yeah, we're ready. Okay.
okay?
So I'm just saying the QR code.
No, I-
is a good idea.
No, it's okay. Are we good?
Yeah.
On the
I
agenda.
made a motion, is there a second?
I don't know if we have to make a motion for that, but.
No, I think we're good on the agenda.
Okay, it's on the agenda for the next meeting. Sounds good.
Yeah, that's.
Public comment.
Hello, everybody. I am the living man, Joel Raffaelli. I'm from Delaware, which I believe is Warren County, correct? Thanks, I'll be brief with you. I'm a living man. I reside on the land. I'm not under corporate law. And as I understand, the Smithfield Township is corporation. I'm sorry to understand the difference between legal and lawful. And so it is quite a thing. I appreciate that you brought up the Constitution tonight and the freedom of speech. That's kind of what I was gonna be talking about, and also the freedom of travel, which has come up quite a bit, I guess, here with regards to Act 9. You know, as American people, we don't consent to any contract, agreement, statutory obligation that infringes on our right to speak or to travel. All right, the Supreme Court has upheld many decisions and multiple binding decisions when it comes to the right of travel and free speech. I don't know, I'm just curious, have any of you taken sworn an oath when you take a seat here toward the Constitution?
Have you what?
Have you sworn an oath to uphold the Constitution when you took a seat on the city board?
No.
Right, okay, I was just curious, I didn't know if you guys did that or not.
But I have,
Mm-hmm, oh, you have?
Okay.
I have, cool, very, very cool.
but
That's important.
not for a board here, but I've taken.
Okay, well, for the boards, it also shows that there's color of law going on here. That you guys basically hold no authority over the people as a corporation. Right, and that's very important for the people to understand those type of things. The Supreme Court, I was gonna speak on traveling in particular. So whether or not you're on your scooter, you're driving your automobile, driving a tractor on your farm, riding a motorcycle on a lap over and over again, all these rights are protected under the Supreme Court. And it's very important that the municipal understands that, because you don't want to infringe on our people's rights of the Constitution, because it is punishable by law. So what I did was I went ahead and looked up some very important rulings that took place in the Supreme Court when it came to traveling. And one of them that really stands out, I'm just gonna bring up one for the time. Cooper versus Aaron, 358 US 1 in 1958. The Supreme Court ruling upheld that this is binding on all state officials. I'm gonna balance my page. That the Supreme Court rulings are binding on all people, including the city, the county, state agencies. All of them cannot stand or override the Supreme Court rulings when it comes to the right to travel. And these things are not, the right to travel should not be turned into a privilege, shouldn't be licensed It shouldn't be, registered, it doesn't need regulations. All these things have been passed by the Supreme Court. That anybody engaging in uniform or presenting themselves in a way and creating regulations when it comes to travel or free speech, can be criminal charges against them. And so this comes into, this pursuant of this code pursuant to 18 USC 241, which is conspiracy against rights, and 18 USC 242 with the deprivation of rights. Under code of law, those that are assuming that they have the right enforcing these things are unjust. And all these things are protected. So willful oppression and denial of our constitutional rights can be criminally prosecuted. Extortion by attempting to coerce to participate in unlawful contract, fraudulent misrepresentation by classifying the right to travel or speak as a regulated privilege. So these things aren't privileges, to speak, they're rights. So they're just part of our nature, it's who we are. So anytime, like you were talking about when misdemeanors on freedom of speech, I agree with you. Or trying to put regulations on freedom of travel, especially on someone's own private property, is against Constitution. And it's been upheld many times. So I yield, and thanks for listening, guys.
Okay, well, thank you. What's your name?
Joel Raphael.
Joel Raffaelli. Thank you. Any other comments? Eric?
No, it's right. I didn't know.
Zach Leptowski, 109 Clubhouse Court. So I know you guys are
Zach, did you say?
yeah,
Could you say your name a little louder?
Zach Leptowski.
Slavkowski?
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, Steve,
Got it.
you'll never forget it.
Never,
Um,
ever.
So this is the environmental advisory group. I was hoping you guys would be able to bridge a gap between, you guys were talking about the conservation district earlier. It'd be awesome to bridge a gap between them and possibly have some representation in from them on this board, since they are the county. And if you guys have ever tried to get in touch with them, it's, you just go in the corner and start talking. It's about the same. It's about useless. You don't get calls back. You don't get anything back. We've applied for permits over a year ago. I've called and checked on them, and the crickets talk to me in the field. So I was hoping that you guys could find a way to bridge that gap, not only between the public that you guys are trying to bridge, which social media is pretty effective. Instagram, everyone uses it.
Could I make one?
Pretty cheap.
Can I make one suggestion? Okay, Zach. Okay, one thing that hasn't changed in America, especially in government. So the most effective way to communicate with the government is by writing. You have to write 1,000 times, you write.
Yeah, but I mean,
Because
Instagram is writing.
Not the same.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying
Because they're
for
not bound-
the
They're not bound by the electronic thing.
yeah.
Because they're still in the Stone Age when it comes to communications with the public. It all has to be in writing.
Yeah, well,
Okay,
it's
so
like
you wanna
social media,
communicate?
social media is writing, so. I mean, I'm just saying for you guys to find a better way to come out of the Stone Age and get in touch with the people that aren't in the Stone
I'm
Age.
just making a suggestion for
Zach,
you.
I made a note.
Uh-huh.
I'll talk, with the group about.
Yeah, if we could find a way to bridge the gap between the conservation district and the environmental advisory group, that'd be really helpful on the community's part, because obviously as a community member, I haven't been able to get in touch with them. You guys are here and you're here every other week. I've written them, I've called them, it's
writing.
used from the toilet paper
Keep
over
writing.
there.
Certified letters.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that we can get that moving forward and get some stuff cleared up with that and as far as the environmental side of things. I was hoping that, you know, Robert was gonna come to the trash pickup so we can throw them out. I know you said something about the comment. I guess it's here. See if it's true. If you gotta put it in effect, Robert's a piece of shit, so just wanna see if we get charged with that misdemeanor.
Again, we'll just. try and keep-
So yeah, we're just gonna do that, and I hope to see Robert at the trash pickup, because we wanna throw you out, bud.
Okay,
Thank you. Is anyone else going? No,
all in favor to
adjourn.
the meeting adjourned?
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second,
All in favor?
aye.
Aye.